everyone, my name is Mharz, and in today's video, we are going to make DIY Perks Flex Light. Now, I'm not gonna follow it word for word, but mostly the concept, using the materials that I have and I can buy at an affordable price. With that out of the way, let's get on to working this. Let's introduce the start of the show, these LED strips. These are 5630 type LED strips, and I bought this particular model because based on what I've seen in DIY Perks video, it's the similar type of strip they use because it was written on the strip. I found a white and a warm white strip in Lazada and Shopee respectively, and it cost me around 400 pesos without shipping for a roll of 5 meters each. I won't be using faux leather like they did in the video, but instead, I will be using this linoleum that's lying around our house. It's flexible, but it is hard to fold around, so let's see how this will turn out. Next is the PWM dimmer that they used. I tried my best to find a similar model to what's in the video, and I found this at Shopee at 60 pesos a pop. We have the main materials we need. It's time to assemble this bad boy. First off, we cut the linoleum into 38 by 38 cm square and draw another square 4 cm away from the sides. The inner square will serve as a guide on where we're gonna attach the strips. We cut the strips into a bunch of 30 cm strips. Be sure to cut them at this part in order for the connections to work properly. We did this on both white and warm white strips. Just be sure to separate them so as to avoid confusion. In order for these strips to attach properly to the linoleum, we are going to use silicone. Be sure to use neutral cure silicone as acid cure silicone might cause damage to the strips over time. This is actually the first time I've used a caulking gun, so this is probably gonna be messy. Now let's attach the strip, alternating between white and warm white. Also be sure to just align the polarity in one direction so it's not gonna be chaotic when we get to wiring later. Trust me, you're gonna want to do that. A few days later. Alright, hopefully this will not come off. I've let it press for like a week now. Anyway, it's time to do the wiring. So we're gonna put the wires on each side of the panel. One side will be for the white strips and the other side will be for the warm white strips. It's a matter of soldering negative to negative and positive to positive. Just be sure to pay attention to the labels. Also double check that you are only wiring it to one color only. I'm not really good at explaining this, so I'll link the video in the description below. Following the DIY Perks video, we separated the wiring of the top half and the bottom half of the strips because we are attaching this as a series connection which will divide the voltage in half. In order to do that, take the positive wire in the middle of the top half and wire it to the negative part of the bottom half. Then do that to the other side. Now let's solder the long wires on the middle part of the power and then attach the other end of these wires to the PWM thingy. We bridge the connection of this circuit so that we only need to use one power source. For the actual power source, we'll be using an 18.5 laptop charger. I modified this charger by changing the connector at the end. Now, the strips are 12 volts, yes, but since we wired it in series, that 18.5 will be divided in half, so the strips will only get 9.25 volts of power. Or at least that's what DIY Perks said. I believe him. Okay, let's test it again to see if it's working. Yes! Look at that, it's working! It's also dimming properly, oh yeah! I'm so happy that the PWM circuit works well. Time to move on. Now, DIY Perks added a wireframe in the panel in order to add strength and make it stand around on its own. I will not bother with this since most of the time I'd be hanging it around in a stand anyway. The linoleum is quite hard to fold, so I would be struggling a lot if I add this. I use zip ties to quote-unquote stitch the edges of the linoleum to make it look neat. Although I did end up putting silicone as well. Oh, and before I did that, I added some holes at the bottom for the wires to go through so it's not scattered around. Now comes the question of how to encase the PWM circuit. So I went to the store and looked around for some small food containers and I found this cute one that fits the circuit properly. I drilled some holes into it. I should probably just dig out my father's electric drill, but oh my god, I'm so lazy. I managed to power through that, and for that I deserve a reward. How about clicking the like button? That would be a nice reward. We added some hot glue gun on the power jack so that it doesn't get pushed around when we plug the power source. Then it's just a matter of screwing the nuts into the PWM circuits for them to stay in place. Now we need to find a way to make it stand. On the DIY Perks video, he used an aluminum sheet to create a mount for his light stand. That will not be ideal for me because I don't think drilling metal manually would be a good idea. Just saying. So in order to be able to mount it on my tripod, I have a nice long wood here. I cut it to match the width of the light panel. Then I also cut a small one which will fit into this phone holder like this. Okay, now we are going to screw this small wood into the center of the longer wood. Let's attach this phone holder to the wood stop and mount it to the tripod. I have some clamps here and we're gonna use that to hang the light panel here like how you hang your clothes to dry them out. There we go, we're finally done. That's looking real nice, although, there are some LEDs that kinda died. I'm not sure if that's my fault or it's a quality issue. I don't really know at this point. Hopefully the rest will stay lit for a long time because I will be using it for filming from here on out. The dimmer is actually a nice touch because I can control the amount of light I need to use for the shot I need. We don't really need to add diffusion, I think. That is it for this video. This took me weeks to do because I'm slow and I was only doing this on the weekends, so yeah. I hope you enjoy it. I think this is a great substitute if you can't afford those film quality light panels. They are very expensive. I always believe that you don't need to spend way too much for equipment in order to be able to create a good video. There are ways to DIY some of the equipment and it's way cheaper as long as you had the patience to build them. If I ever build this again, I'd probably skip on the flexible part and just use a wooden board for the panel, especially when you're like me and you're just using it for photography and video. You don't really need the flexible feature as you're gonna mount it to the stand all the time.
I did enjoy building this despite the setbacks, and I really enjoy DIYing some stuffs. And if you'd like to see more, be sure to subscribe the smack button. Be sure to smack that subscribe button and ring that G-dang bell. Any engagement in this channel will help a lot. If you have any comments and suggestions, feel free to leave a comment down below. I would love to learn more stuffs. I do have a lot of ideas I want to try out and I do my best in making them even though I am very slow. Anyway, thank you so much for watching and I will see you in the next video. Bye!
And since you reached the end, how about checking some of my other videos over there by the right of your screen? I'm pretty proud of these videos even though it's not professionally made, so give it a shot! Go on!